everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I'm Sarah Jane Case and I help people to create the balance between productivity and self-care so they don't feel guilty for how they spend their time. I recently celebrated my birthday, so today I'm sharing with you 35 lessons that I have learned in my 35 years. Okay, I'm gonna try and run through these kind of quickly because even if I give a minute to each one, it's gonna be 35 minutes, so bear with me. Number one is you can only control yourself, right? We can't do much about what other people are going to do or what happens to us in our lives, but we can control how we respond to it. So bad things can happen to me and I can't help that, but I can help how I choose to respond and how I decide to react. In the same way, I can't control the people in my life. I can't make them be who I want them to be. All I can do is control myself. And set the boundaries that I need to set, make requests, and how they decide to respond to that is actually just outside of my realm of control. All I can do is control me. That is the circle of control that is within my influence. Number two is that when I feel resentful, that's where I need to either ask for help or set a boundary. And when I ask for help or set a boundary, how that person chooses to respond to that is not my business. And in fact, if they do choose to respond poorly, that's the information I need to know that the boundary was actually necessary. It's not confirmation that I should have never set a boundary, it's actually confirmation that the boundary was exactly what was needed. Number three, go all in 100% on your side of a relationship. If you are trying to love someone, make sure that you are being as kind, as asking for what you need, as vulnerable, as loving. Set the boundaries you need to set, ask for what you need, do your part to take care of you and love them well, and then nothing else is your responsibility. If the relationship isn't working and you know I am doing the best that I can on my end of the street, then that's your information. At that point, everything is just data. Number four, if someone clashes with your values, that's not your responsibility. It's not your job to change your values to match the relationship. It's your job to stick by your values, and then the relationship is either going to stay or go based off of you standing by what you believe to be right. It's more important to stick to your values than it is to silence yourself, not stand up for the people that you think need to be stood up for, just so that you can maintain a relationship where the values aren't aligned. Number five, saying no more often means you have to say I'm sorry much less. Meaning, oftentimes when we're really having to say I'm sorry, it's because we've overcommitted and then we're dropping the ball. Or maybe we've said yes and we actually don't want to do it and we end up backing out. There's a million reasons in which we have to apologize for things or dropping the ball or backing out of something. But if you just say no more often, it saves a lot of heartache of just saying I'm sorry later on. Number six, having a really clear vision of where you want to be going, what you want to be doing, gives you the information that you need to know when to say no and when to say yes. If the invitation is taking you closer to that vision you have for your life, great. If it's taking you further away or it's not moving you forward, then the answer should probably be no. Number seven, very few people, if anyone's opinion of you actually matters. What matters is that you have a solid relationship to yourself. If you feel like you're following through with your values, if you feel like you are in alignment with where you intend to be going with your life, and you are loving the people in your life well, anyone's opinion of how that looks is none of your business. And in fact, any amount of opinion that they have about your life is really just a reflection of their expectations that they have for themselves that they are projecting onto you, and or they're prioritizing their desires over your needs. None of that's your business. Number eight, to make this easier, the more fun that you are having, the easier it is to not care about what other people are doing or how they feel or what they think about you or if they like you, because you're having a good time and so it doesn't really matter. Number nine, feelings aren't permanent. They will come and they will go. There is no need to completely reorganize or reorient your life or to freak out or worry about what feelings are here. They will pass. The good feelings will also pass. The positive feelings will come and go. The negative feelings will come and go. None of them are permanent. They're always moving through you. So if you can just pause and let the feelings come and let them go, then it goes a lot faster than if we try to control it or fix it or change our whole lives to just feel a little bit better than we felt before. We can just breathe through them, let them come and let them go. Number 10, what you surround yourself with impacts how you think. This can happen both negatively if you surround yourself with people who are constantly criticizing themselves and others, if you're following Fitspo inspiration people on the internet, if you are completely surrounded by people and things that have negative self-talk or are forcing themselves to, deepen diet culture, deepen shame culture, that is going to infiltrate your mind and impact how you see the world and how you see yourself. On the flip side, you can positively brainwash yourself by surrounding yourself with people who look like you or have different kinds of bodies, different kinds of beings, who are open and kind and loving, who are looking to constantly be more warm, more generous, more values driven. That will impact you as well. So how you surround yourself, what media you consume, who you spend your time with, who you follow on Instagram, it will change you, and you get to decide whose voices are creating that change. Number 11 is lifestyle matters more than achievement. It is more important that we enjoy our lives than we accomplish our goals, right? If we lived a life well lived and didn't meet any of these like arbitrary metrics of success, we've lived a successful and beautiful life, and that is what matters. It's much more important to live a loved, full, expressive life that feels aligned with who we are and what we stand for than it is to have 1 million subscribers on Instagram. Number 12, slowing down is almost always the answer. Number 13, having fewer, healthier relationships is so much better than having hundreds of mediocre ones. I did the thing where I became friends with everyone forever. And here's the thing is you don't get the depth of connection that we need to have true community and true relationship with people when we try to spread ourselves that thin. It's kind of this like nice little band-aid that we can do where like you give people just the best of you and then you walk away and they don't have to really see the dirt and the mess and the grime. But there's nothing like having just 3 or 4 friends who love you for who you are, both the good and the bad, and who you love for who they are, the good and the bad. That is so much more valuable and a better use of your time and energy than hundreds of half friends who you don't really know very well at all. I'm not saying you can't have acquaintances, but really remember who your priorities are. Number 14, it's okay to change your mind and it's never too late. Number 15, sometimes doing the boring thing is actually more fun in the long run, right? Creating a savings account now can help you to have a better, more easeful life down the road so you can enjoy your life more. Saving up for a really big trip is really boring right now. Like not going out for takeout every night when you want to is boring, but it ultimately will give you a better trip in the long run. So sometimes it's worth it to have momentary boredom for long-term joy. Number 16, traveling and surrounding yourself with people who are different than you expands you, and I think is the greatest giver of wisdom of anything that I've ever done. I know that traveling isn't accessible to everybody, but it can be as simple as just following people who are different than you, surrounding yourself with people who are different than you where you are. If you are constantly interacting with people who look like you, who believe like you, who sound like you, who have the same exact financial status as you, you're not going to expand and change and grow and increase in wisdom. If you can interact with people who don't look like you, who don't sound like you, who didn't grow up like you, from different cultures and different backgrounds, so that you can expand your worldview to match the reality of humanity. Number 17, sometimes when you have a really strong reaction to something, it's actually not really about that thing, right? Sometimes our reactions, when they're so intense, they have more to do with something else that's happened to us or something we're afraid of or something that we have experienced before. And so if we can pause and reflect, we can really honor the true reaction for the actual situation we're in. Number 18, keeping a journal is so helpful. It really is just how you can be a better friend to yourself and a better support to yourself in the long run, asking and answering really good questions with yourself. Kind of in the same way, number 19, you almost always know the answer. You're just a little scared of what it might be. Number 20, more is rarely the solution to chaos. Oftentimes, less is the answer. Number 21, restriction isn't the answer to changing your life. Oftentimes, adding in more good makes restriction unnecessary. Number 22, fresh air and 3 deep breaths can solve a lot of our problems. Number 23, under promise and over deliver. Set expectations for what you're going to deliver very, very low, and then always go a little bit above them. If you think you're going to be 5 minutes late, say, hey, I think I'm going to be 15 minutes late, and then show up 10 minutes early. Number 24, communication just makes things so much simpler. If you just tell people what you're thinking, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and especially if you're more able to be vulnerable, then you are doing a lot less of this like guessing game thing, trying to people please, make people happy. You don't have to kind of manage their expectations. You communicate and let it go. Number 25, laughter really is the best medicine. Number 26, this one's pretty personal to me, but you actually do like to cook, you just don't like to cook meat. So if you cook veggie-based meals, you actually love the process. Number 27, for me, the answer is almost always alone time. Number 28, when you're feeling stuck and like you just can't move forward, maybe you have writer's block or you're in the process and you can't quite get your head around the next step, changing your scenery, even if it's just moving across the room to a different seat, is always going to kind of shake things up and get things moving. Number 29, you are not going to save anyone's life by arguing with people on the internet. It's just not going to do it. But number 30, do have these conversations intentionally, thoughtfully, and ask really good questions. Offer compassion, but with a firm, like this is right and wrong sense of that with the people in your life, because you actually may be able to impact the way that they vote or the way that they view the world if you will stay the course and have these conversations. You can't have this with 600,000 people online, but you can have it with 3 or 4 people in real life. Number 31, the internet is not real life. Prioritize appropriately. Number 32, always do more in terms of doing good, self-care, loving the people in your life. Do more in private than you do in public. Number 33, you teach people how to interact with you by what you tolerate from them. Number 34, if something feels off, something's off. You can trust yourself. And finally, number 35, you are your greatest love. Treat her well. All right, you guys, those are my 35 lessons in my 35 years. Let me know what your great lesson is down below, or if there's one that really stood out to you that you're gonna take away for today. As always, it's such a joy to create content for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.